Dak Prescott say they are very close, man, to the Eagles, and he said check the record. So let's listen to him.
From that level. I mean, I feel like we compete with the Eagles and beat them for the most part when we played them. I don't want to say check the record when they're the guys holding the trophy right now. So credit to them. They've earned it and they deserved it by all means. But, yeah, very close, especially even watch the NFC game, the NFC Championship. And those two teams that we battle against each and every year a couple of times. And as I said, feel confident about we've gotten the better part each and every time. To see it in such a dominating fashion, credit to them. It's our turn and it's on us. All right.
No doubt, no doubt. So that's Dak Prescott on checking everything. And he's saying that basically that they are close. But checking the record, he said he can't say that now because they're lifting up that Lombardi trophy. But it's one of those things where we can look back at and say, we've been very competitive in competing with the Eagles. Now, granted, it's crazy to even mention this because of the simple fact that you got to win multiple playoff games before you even get to the Super Bowl. But he had more and more things to say as it relates to the Dallas Cowboys and all what they need to do in order to get back to those winning ways. And I'm going to tell y'all, man, it's a very difficult spot to be in when you are rooting and supporting this team because we get these little one-off interviews, and then now people are going to try to dial up that, the Cowboys on one end, Michael Parsons saying we going to the Super Bowl, and then on the other end, Dak Prescott saying, yeah, man, we very close. We very close and check the records and things like that. Now, I'm of the belief that Dak Prescott, if given the situation, if given the opportunity to have said run game and these sorts of things, that things can change a little bit. Matter of fact, forget that, things can change a lot a bit, So let's listen to Dak Prescott on his update of his injury or what have you.
Yeah, my health is, for sure. My health is good. Doing a lot more. Getting there. I think I'm, 12 weeks or so out of surgery now. So I'm really looking to amp it up here recently. Got all my confidence, and we'll be fine. Yeah, my health.
So he's saying that basically he's pretty much good to go beyond his hamstring. And then this is another thing. This is Dak Prescott thoughts on the I want to say the coach here. And I really appreciate Dak Prescott and his words and his wordings here, especially going back and forth with people about all of these topics here. But let's, and this was a breaking news earlier today about that. But let me give a shout out to my guy, John Machota, on this. But let's listen to what he said.
For him, this opportunity. Obviously, I've worked with him for the last couple of years, understanding the type of coach he is, the type of man he is, the way that he approaches the game. I think the best way to exemplify that is the son of a legendary football coach. He's not going to take anything about this game lightly. He enjoys the work in it. Kind of old-fashioned. I'm looking forward to the grind and some things that we're going to do and he's going to add, and excited for him. I know he's ready for it. He's been an assistant for a long time, and something else I admire is the way that he went on with the interviewing process. When you've been an assistant for 25 to 30 years, I know there's a quarterback coach, I know there's a receiver coach, a deep coordinator, and a safety that you can call up without them thinking twice that they're going to come work for you. But for him to go through the due diligence of getting the guys in, interviewing them, and then taking it amongst the other guys that are there and making final decisions, I think speaks highly of his approach and the way that he's going to take care of things.
He talked about you guys being able to have hard conversations with each other. How does that happen? How do you guys build that?
Yeah, I mean, I think just naturally it's kind of already happened. I know he alluded to, the interception at practice and me giving it back to him. And, it was a great moment of I understand and I appreciate that sense of standard. We're not accepting one play to come out. But at my point, hey, where did I get my risk versus reward? But that was a conversation that was very unpleasant at the front end. But it had to be addressed at some point or another, and it was immediately after practice. And it was two grown men coming to an understanding and appreciating each other for the competitiveness and the standard. And so I'm excited for things like that to grow, and not only just me in the quarterback position, but throughout every position on it.
Man, I like that. Dak threw an interception. Hey, man, you're going to have to hit the bench, And that old school way of style and approach to the game should work. Now, here's the thing. On the other side, when you are not the head coach, you may not be able to enforce those type of rules. So by him being now the head coach, now he can enforce different rules, different policies, different procedures on things. If you F up, then hey, there's the back of the line, basically. And that's what I like to hear from the quarterback about my guy, Shotty, so I'm still giving him a 5. I'm not saying that he's a 6 or a 7 as far as my feeling towards Shotty. Keep on calling him Scotty. Shotty, you know what I'm saying? Schottenheimer. But I'm giving him right in the middle because I got to see how this process will all look when it's all said and done. So shout out to Dak Prescott. And he was asked also, shout out to John Machota for putting together this wonderful, beautiful display of information for the nation. Shout out to my guy. Dak Prescott, when he was asked about the Cowboys offense under the new coaching staff, first thing he mentioned was improving the run game. Listen properly.
Honestly, I think he spoke on it in the press conference, right? And then following this year, we just got to get to running the ball, being a little bit more, consistent on that. And then from there, and go back and look at the numbers. I've always enjoyed play action pass, so just being able to get back to that. But you got to start with the run game, and when you have that, the rest of the offense can open up. We saw that this one more.
The truth shall set you free, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. What we've been banging on the table for. Run game. Now, the detractors will say, well, we always had run game. Well, it was his fault that he threw those interceptions. Well, it was X, Y, and Z things that played factors upon factors in those particular games. Well, I can give you that. But if we can establish run game, and if we, and I'm using the words if, because we don't know what this team going to do as far as the free agency and the draft. We don't know, man. Nobody saw Tyler Guyton coming here. Nobody saw Mozzie and them and Luke Schoonmaker coming here. Nobody saw those things. If they did, then shame on them for not speaking up before all of this done happened, right? But we got to figure out a way to establish the run and throw this ball around the field with play action. There's never been in the history of the Dallas Cowboys success that they made a deep run in the postseason and won it without run game and without sound defense. Never in the history of the Cowboys' history. So if that never happened in the history of the Cowboys' history, then Dak Prescott, if he's want to make any good parts of the history, you got to have the run game and play sound defense. So those are the things that I'm looking for. And we'll see how things can work around. Keep in mind, NFL is a copycat league. I get all of that. People are going to try to replicate what the Eagles did in that particular Super Bowl. They're going to try to replicate that. And I have no ill wills or ill feelings about that. But before we depart, I just want to play this one more time for those who love to challenge the law and say, well, hey, that's just because of the Cowboys' X, Y, and Z factors. Well,
the Eagles' defensive line had a true.
Go right here.
The Eagles' defensive line had a truly legendary performance in the Super Bowl. I don't know if we've ever seen anything quite like it. So get this. The Eagles' defense did not blitz Patrick Mahomes a single time in this game on 42 different dropbacks. That is insane.
42 different dropbacks. I'm not saying that Dak Prescott is Pat Mahomes. But the only way that you can beat that kind of caliber of style of defense, you got to run the ball, baby. Because if I'm only rushing 4 and I got 6 and 7 dropping back in coverage, it's going to be a long night for you.
Defensive coordinator Vic Fangio did literally nothing but rush 4 guys and drop 7 guys into coverage all night. They did not send a single extra rusher at Mahomes at any point, and yet Mahomes was sacked 6 different times. He has never been sacked that many times in his entire career. Just take that in for a second. Vic Fangio didn't give his guys up front any help whatsoever, and yet they still got home like crazy. And you definitely saw the significant advantage that comes with successfully pressuring the quarterback while only rushing 4. They had the numbers on the back end in coverage, not only to keep a top on Mahomes and not let him hit a deep shot, but really to make Mahomes very uncomfortable testing any window in coverage. Even when he bought the time, he was so scared to let it loose. I'm not hating on Jalen Hurts. I think he played well enough as a quarterback to win Super Bowl MVP. Truly, he delivered. But Josh Sweat was honestly my Super Bowl MVP. He had 8 quarterback pressures, 2.5.
Now, shout out to Sweat and all of that. And what I wanted to get at with that clip, you just got to be prepared for it. Run the ball, figure out ways to slow this game down. And if Shoddy can do that, then things going to be different over here in Cowboys land. Post me your thoughts, post me your concerns down below. And on top of that, how far away are we? How far away are we, ladies and gentlemen? Let's listen to it one more time.
I mean, I feel like we compete with the Eagles and beat them for the most part when we played them. I don't want to say check the record when they're the guys holding the trophy right now. So credit to them. They've earned it and they deserved it by all means. But, yeah, very close, especially even watch the NFC game, the NFC Championship. And those two teams that we battle against each and every year a couple of times. And as I said, feel confident about we've gotten the better part each and every time. To see them, to see it in such a dominating fashion, credit to them. It's our turn and it's on us. All right.
Our turn is on us, Cowboy Nation, man. I'm tired of waiting in this line. Let's figure out what we can do. DC for life, not for sure. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. It's going to be unedited because I don't feel like editing today. But you guys, check out this video. Yeah. DC for life, not for short, baby. Peace. Come on with it.